I am Philoliteum, and maybe for the first time I need you, at least I need this more than you do. It can never just be enough that I'm writing, and I know that. It's selfish. It's selfish to want to be enough that I'm writing. I need to unpack and curl, bundle back up. It's so cold. I need to get my computer ready. Which means I need to find my gloves. And then I would like it if that didn't happen. I don't know how my blanket can activate my phone's screen. It doesn't fully make sense to me how it's no longer the heat of your finger that activates. It's just any mere touch, the merest pressure now sets these things into a fucking temper tantrum of spasmodic reactions. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like at some point you would think that these because they're an end user product, an end consumer product, that at some point they would begin to have some sort of end user customer product logic in their design. They would start to adapt to their use. But no, technology and information transmission is always top down. Always. The way we do it. The way we do it, it is always top down. If you try to go from the center out, if you try to radiate information, if you try to Ouroboros information, you're just constantly circling back on yourself to make sure that nobody gets left behind, you never go anywhere. You never go anywhere and nobody trusts you. So I guess KJ's takedown of my work is having the effect of sending people to my channel to let me know that they don't like my work. I don't care that you don't like my work. You didn't pay for my work. You weren't critiquing my work on my work. You're critiquing my work from somebody who has an axe to grind with me. I don't owe you anything, and I will not give you anything. Oh, Danny. I don't even owe you the good faith of discourse. But of course, being in my YouTube comments isn't good enough. They also have to get in the Discord and try to undermine me with my culture. How does it sound like I am, Danny? Don't ask stupid questions. I am stressed and I am tired and I am cold. And I am just not in the mood for stupid shit today, Danny. Hello, Shadow. I do not have a safe space. I do not have a retreat. This is the best I've got, and it's usually hostile to me. What happened to whom, Jimmy? Well, if I were your bud, I think you would know. Just turn that twisted logic every woman uses around on you. If you loved me, you would know. I'm sure if you watched the first 5 minutes of the show, you would know, Jimmy. Alright, so I'm going to be moving now to chapter 2. We got scene 1 yesterday. I got scene 1 done to my satisfaction yesterday. This might move into a never-ending cyclical process, but I think I know how to manage it. Alright. The Chosen Saga, author Vincent Kyle Dennis, chapter 2, scene 1. That was definitely Leaf. Zaglian thinks to his jailer. The sensation as the thing turns the bulk of its awareness to Zaglian is indescribable, but he does not flinch. What? It demands to know. The man that just walked out of this tavern, Zaglian explains. That was... But you need to find a place to sit down right now. These people are going to notice my boots are obscured in a shadow that moves if you don't. And they know me. If Zaglian had a throat to catch and an urge to swallow, he'd be choking on how delicate this situation actually is right now. The demon that pilots his body, the jailer, cares nothing for these things, cares nothing for human things. Let them look, it suggests to him. Let them be afraid. It might be funny. Funny or not, we're not here to terrorize these people. The master, speak not to me of the necromancer. Pain is everything. The demon isn't just angry, it just can. It can do this to him. So it is. But it walks Zaglian's black leather boots to a table in a corner and sits down. No one approaches his body. No one is going to. Soon. Soon the boy will be dead, and I will be... You will be what, Zaglian? The never-human entity asks him. Free of us. You will never be free of us. We are a fractal of a fractal of a fractal of the horrors that await you when you are allowed apart from this body. We will devour you 1,000,000 times 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000 times 1,000,000,000,000. Your infinity, your eternity are ours. Zaglian has heard this enough times he no longer knows whether to believe it's true or possible. But he believes this thing believes it, and that's enough. He turns away from any inward thoughts, anything resembling hope, and focuses his attention on the tavern before him. We will not much care about what. Zaglian begins to school his jailer in caution and patience, as he has so many times before. In every town along the trades roads and every one of the walled cities of rolling hills. This time, however, he is wrong, as though he had forgotten that they have finally found their quarry after all these years. I meant to find my hand warmer before I started. A second. It's cold today. Beside them are a table and chair combination, both reduced to rubble, and unless it is Zaglian's imagination or this unnatural third sort of sight he now has, he would swear the table is smoldering. But that isn't even what stopped his thought. A largish man with the torso of a blacksmith and the hips and legs of a gigolo is shouting at a trio of much smaller thug types about not doing anything about what Leaf had done to him, and what appears to be the rest of the adult population of the town watching in one shade of amused or another, from disgusted bemusement to outright delight. What is this, then? Zaglian finds himself thinking. The Thunderfists have enemies, the demon suggests. So it seems. Zaglian agrees. You are going to heal that man's injury. Why am I going to do that? Zaglian asks. His answer is the one he expects. Pain. Zaglian's body stands, crosses the room to where the men are bickering like children. Somewhere along the way, the shadow has fallen to reveal a middle-aged man in a green cloak, expensive black-oiled leather armor from his calves to his chin, all of it in a style that would have been astonishingly fashionable 15 or 20 years ago among longstriders, soloist adventurers, and mercenaries of the trades roads. His face remains hidden in the shadows of his hood, a wooden torque all of one piece as though it had grown to clasp his cloak, in the shape of a dragon eating its own tail, stylized wings flat to its side as though diving from a height, completes the ensemble. The leader of these men, Callan, as Zaglian is determined from their shouts, turns to look at him. After all those years at Eric's side, Zag had never much thought of himself as a tall man. But this one does have to raise his eyes to look into the darkened hood. Who are you? The biggish man blusters, cradling his hand. What could you possibly... Give me your hand. Zaglian's body says. The voice is harsh, deader than the throat making it. You are going to heal him. Something about the situation, whether it were the visible dagger on the long strider's hip, the LT trademark on its hilt, or the overall sense of this whip-thin killer before him, Callan does not much hesitate. He has never met a long strider personally, but the reputation precedes them. No matter which one this one might be, or have been. No more his hesitation, or less than anyone might, even if they knew what Zaglian had become, and who, or what, was making the demand. When the jailer takes the hand, Zaglian looks into it in the way he used to when he was alive. He could see past the flesh to translucent finger bones, all of them broken right in the middle as though a mischievous god had gone and perforated them. With only a little effort of his will, Zaglian is able to guide the bones back together and, using their own desire to be whole once more, knit them together. Zaglian imagines all this. He can no longer close his eyes, nor can he feel his connection to the earth beneath his feet or against his dead skin. But the mother does not want this man hurting, so this man is no longer hurt. The demon releases the man's hand. Thunderfist. Zaglian's body says, "You are his enemy." The room is hushed. This isn't the place. Callan says, "And no, I'm not his enemy, but thanks for the hand. Look, we're gonna get. If you want Thunderfist, he's..." And Zaglian is as astonished, perhaps, as everyone else in the room. Callan tells this thing of shadows and death, not only where Leaf's shop is, his public business, but his home. Enemies. The demon insists. Enemies. Zaglian agrees as they watch the quartet leave. As they, in addition to the whole town, do this. How does that? It doesn't. Retrieve the gauntlets, kill the boy. We know where the boy is. The boy is no longer a concern, but the gauntlets? Eric will not be difficult to find. Like father, like son. In more ways than you might think. Zaglian finds himself musing about the finger. Leaf did that. He's sure of it. Only one family, only one man's son could be surgical with his rage. Thunderfist. Thunderfist indeed, Zaglian thinks. The two entities watch from their shared revenant as the town filters one by one out of the tavern. Neither of them wonders whether it has anything to do with them. It does, but the show's over. Those who recognize the living cadaver know that tonight marks the end of what had been before. Whatever period of prosperity they had known was at its end. Tomorrow begins the time before and after. Zaglian's body raises a gloved hand to finger a lifeless lip. Oh, that's supposed to be a time between before and after. Zaglian's body raises a gloved hand to finger a lifeless lip. We will go to this Callan tomorrow. The demon announces with Zaglian's voice after the two have been alone too long to be overheard. Why, I don't understand. Be patient, little poppet. The demon laughs. You will see your beloved Thunderfists dead. You will avenge your meaningless sacrifice. You may even receive the absolution you crave. Then why this Callan creature? He's just a... You do not know the powers at play in this town. The necromancer is only one of the true gods. It casts its gaze around the town as though seeing into a distance. Zaglian cannot, with eyes he does not have and does not want to fathom. Irons. In only one of his fires. Be patient, little Puck. Be patient. That was a creepy noise right at the end there. End scene. Uh, 20 minutes. I'm staying on task. Trying to keep each scene 15 minutes. Because we're adults and we have shit to do. But everybody has 15 minutes. The effort you guys go to know that you hate me isn't fuel. It's just evidence. It's just evidence that I'm better than you. Better than you'll ever be. I'm better than you've ever wanted to be. I'm better than you've ever conceptualized trying to be. I'm better than you believe that humans could be. The effort that you go to stop me just proves that these push-ups that I have done make me better. Leaf, as unpolished and drafty and immature as it was, is better than anything you'll ever do. It's better than you'll ever do. It's better than you'll ever reach. It's further than you'll ever go. I don't know. Very crap. Or a very cold demo. I'm not on a mountain, no. Google says it's 9 degrees, so it's probably about 6 degrees. It's cold. It usually turns out to be colder, actually. I need to pee and I'm anxious to get this day started, so this may not be an hour. We'll see. Why would I want to do that? Y'all are neither as sexy or as clever as you think you are. You are disruptive. They've made a secondary means of ingress. Must be easier to get there. Ah, they ate one of my candy canes. They got all sugar retarded. That's why they were running around the tent last night acting all crazy. That's what they were chewing on. They got they figured out how to eat my candy canes. Oh, and Lucas isn't a Lucas. Lucas is definitely a Lucina. Yeah, you hear a quail? Is that what that is? Lucas is definitely a female. And that fucking mole, I'm so terrified he's gonna get crushed under me. He was running all up and down my feet and my legs and my hips. So I rolled over, moved my sleeping bag, and this fucking guy's jumping to climb up into this box. What could he possibly want in this box? He keeps coming in here. There's nothing in here. What could he possibly want? It's just my backpack. He must climb up in here to eat or something. Or he just knows that he can use it to sneak past me because it's got a hard back. There's nowhere for him to go. It's a dead end. But I never see him come out of it, so it works. As an escape route. I know he's not in the tent now. Spent the night running around on my fucking head. It's hard to sleep. That is a challenging environment in which to sleep, actually. It is hard to sleep and stay asleep when you've got a mouse and a mole running around on your fucking head. I don't even mean to sound like I'm complaining. That was just hard. That last night was tough. To fall asleep and stay that way. I'm climbing around on my fucking head. Just like, please, because he's blind. The mole's blind. Just don't come into my fucking into my sleeping bag. He ain't got no fucking eyes. And Lucas is definitely a female. Lucas doesn't have no hanging testes. You can tell with mice and rats. They got these balls, you see. He ain't got no balls, Lucas. That motherfucker, I can hear him chewing on something, and I'm like, where the fuck is he? What is he chewing on? Please don't be chewing on my backpack. So I pulled the seat back, and that motherfucker comes flying out of there. Phew! Shoots up onto my sleeping bag, up on my knees. Turns back and looks at me. I'm just looking at her like, go! Finish! Yes, they're trying to stay warm. My tent is probably the warmest thing that they have access to for about a mile. So yeah, it doesn't bother me. It's just the two of them. I wake up because I hear it, and then my brain starts to count how many bodies have actually surrounded me and how big are they. And by the time I go through the threat evaluation, I can't fall back to sleep easily. And so I just lay there, and they climb around all over my damn head and behind me, and then the fucking mole is climbing around under my legs and up on my hip. I am more worried that I'm going to accidentally hurt them than that they are going to hurt me. The spots at the periphery of my tent where they hang out, the mouse is pooping. So she clearly thinks of this as a safe place, and she clearly thinks of me as a friend. And they eased off when I dropped them a couple of pepperonis back here. I don't want it closed off better. They can just cut through. They have two holes that they've torn in the actually on the other side of this blanket. Making them work harder to get in is just going to have them it's going to have them what I'm worried about is that they're going to compromise the structural integrity of my tent before it thaws. That's what I'm most concerned about, is that they're going to like chew on the straps that hold the tent to the poles, for example, or whatever. I don't mind. I've been feeding them for a year. I don't mind them being here. I don't even mind them coming in and out of the tent, because on some level they're also cleaning up any food that could go bad, and whatever, any droppings that I've left in the tent, they're finding them and eating them, and it's whatever. I even like I said, I gave them 2 slices of pepperoni, and they chilled out. They are trying to survive, and I think they're female is the thing. I think that she's bonded to me. I think that she thinks that we're a mated pair on some level, because she climbs up here on the top and looks down on me and gets really fucking mad if I don't provide her with food. So on some level, I am concerned that she's not got a male partner, but on the other, she doesn't live here. The mole lives under the foot of my tent. And like, I know where he lives. I've seen him go in and out. I found his holes. They don't shit and piss everywhere they go. They shit and piss everywhere they feel comfortable. I've kept mice and rats as pets, James. I know more about this than you do. They are 3 inches long. They are not going to bother me. The thing that I am concerned about, like, I know the mole gets up under my feet, up under my sleeping bag, because I keep a hand warmer down there sometimes. So why wouldn't he? I get it. What I am concerned is that I'm going to wake up one morning and I'm going to find a crushed dead mole because I scooshed on him. It's so amazing that I think I've figured it out. I think I've figured it out. I think you people in the chat think that you're going around giving advice and that you're going around bettering the world to the people doing the bettering of the world. I think that's how you think the world works. I think that you think that everyone is a representative Democrat, and as such, you get to go around and inform everyone's worldview because they're only a representative and you're the real thing. But that is only the case during election cycles and in Washington. Yeah, but you're wrong. And so if I know more than you and I inform you that you're actually wrong and I know more about this than you give me the God bless good day thing. Well, okay, well, now that it's my turn to learn and receive from you, I'm out. But you do that in church too. I watch you do it in church. I watch you do it in school growing up. I watch you do it in church. I watch you do it at work. I watch you do it everywhere you go. You think that you're the holder of the key. You think that everyone is a representative and that you are the true Democrat. I think that's what everyone believes. I think that's what you all do, all of you that pull that shit in the chat where you want to give me advice and ask how I'm doing. I think you think I'm a representative. I think you think I'm a placeholder for some other thing. And I'm not a real person. I think you think that we can come to a consensus reality and that you get to dictate the terms of mine. I'm agitated, LMT. How do I seem? I stand up in front of you to provide you with 15 minutes of... Yeah, go fuck yourself, LMT. I stand up in front of you to provide you with 15 minutes of thought-provoking entertainment, and I just get crickets and negativity and trolls. How do you think I am? Every fucking day. I think you think I'm a placeholder. I think you think that you dictate what's real. I think you think we get a vote on reality. And that so long as you filibuster, that vote never actually comes to a tally. I think you really think that. It's what I observe in your behavior. I think you think that speaking is holding off the inevitable vote cast. I think that's what you think. I think that's your fundamental flaw. Just the fundamental character flaw that makes you, from your terminology, non-player characters. I think that's what it is. That's why you have to work so hard to disrupt and destroy the things that I'm doing. Because you're NPCs that know they're in a game that they have no control over. So you do everything you can to disrupt the player character experience. But we know that. We know what happens when there's a pandemic. We know. We don't have to ask the question anymore. We don't even have to ask the questions of ourselves anymore. Like, if you couldn't just wash your hands and wear a mask, you're the problem. We know who the problem is. And if you couldn't just wash your hands and wear your mask, if you also had to tell other people to do it, you're the problem. Like, we know where the split ends are that need cut off. We know now. We've known for 6 years. Like, we look at our neighbors and know you shouldn't exist. But there's no survivor's guilt. I see what happens when I speak the truth around you chuckle fucks. I see what happens. The people who shouldn't exist anymore, they fuck off to go disrupt somebody else. Because they know that in literally any other century besides the 21st, they would have been allowed to die for their behavior. They probably would have been executed for their behavior. Yeah. Big T-Rex, you're the kind of person I'm talking about. You are the kind of person that in literally any other human century besides the 21st, you would have been culled. You shouldn't be alive in any other human century. Any other human century. And you would have been allowed to die. But in this one, you are encouraged to procreate. Do you not see? Do you not see it? You are the problem. You are the problem. You speak in defense of a crime against humanity that would have resulted in your death in any other century. But now you don't stand on trial. You didn't stand trial for crimes against humanity, and now that's just normal life. The precedent is that crimes against humanity go without trials. You're the problem. You're why we can't unelect our government. You're why there's nobody willing to stand and run against them. You, the clipped ends that should have died. The people who just can't keep their mouths shut when it's not their time to talk. In any other century, you would have just been killed by the mob for speaking at all. But in this one, you're encouraged to speak because we monetize off of your ignorance. Like, you want to talk about, I used to get in all these conversations with nerds back in the early aughts about how we're evolving backward. We're regressing as a species. No, we're not. You never evolve backward. No turtle has ever become a whatever it was before it was a turtle. That's never happened before. You can't evolve backward. We're evolving forward to be fucking worse. To be fucking worse. Within 3 generations, we're just happy to let everything collapse. Within 3 generations. That's 45 years. That's not even a human lifespan anymore. You're encouraged to live until you're 110. Do you know how long that is? 7 human generations. Everything changes every other. 7. Oh my God. Whatever, man. And then you want to show up and condescend to me. Whatever. I got work to do. This novel's not going to edit itself. And I'm nowhere close to finished. I feel cramped and claustrophobic in here today, so it is time to go. It's time. on mine shoes, beat mine feet. No, I'm being mean to you, Texas. You're just too stupid to know or realize it. Also, like worms too. I keep thinking to myself that I should go up to the pet store and buy a little. They sell little containers of worms for like reptiles or whatever. I keep thinking to myself that I should buy that and I should set out some mealworms or whatever for the mole. He's got to prefer that to what he's been eating. But Molly seems fine with her diet. She's a pudgy little thing. So she's figured out a way to survive on potato chips and potato chips and pepperoni slices and peanuts. What a world we live in. I get it. So have I. I bet they'd really love it if I brought them some more chicken home. I haven't found a convenient way to bring home what chicken fingers I don't want. They gotta stop undercooking their chicken just because they've got a few orders. I'm okay to wait the full 8 minutes, guys. I know how long it takes to cook chicken tenders, and I know that you don't know how yet to pace your orders. You don't have a front of house manager, and I see it that your kitchen manager stands with her face in her phone the whole time. I see it. You guys treat food prep like a factory line because it has many of the same principles. And so the managers behave like shop supervisors because shop supervisors actually have nothing to do. But a kitchen manager has plenty to do besides hold her nose in her phone. She holds her nose in her phone so she doesn't have to do any of it. If she doesn't notice that they're not staging their orders in anything but the order they come in, if she doesn't notice that because she's staring at her phone, then she can't be held accountable for the girl who sat up there at the front of the store for an hour before anybody asked her. Nobody asked her. She sat up there for an hour without anyone asking her, hey, what was your name again so we can make sure that we expedite your order because you've been here for a really long time? And she stands up to ask what the hell was going on with her order, and they just send her storming out because they didn't have it and nobody fucking asked. That's what managers are for. I get special treatment in there and I notice it because I'm attractive and I smile and I'm willing to be patient. And so they do expedite my shit and they don't want me to know. So they give me a whole attitude about it. But I wish they would just give it the 8-minute cook time. Because see, it seems until you have to do it like staging 3-minute and 8-minute cook times in those cycles would be easy. But making sure that your 8-minute cook time on your chicken and your 3-minute cook time on your fries lines up so that they both ding at 0 at the same time and the customer gets hot and fresh food every time is math. And you can't do that while you're texting your fucking boyfriend. There is a reason that movements in mathematical and theoretical fields have stopped, all but come to a grinding halt since computers. If the calculator can do the imaging, if the calculator can do the math, you don't have to. If the AI can understand, you don't have to. And if the chicken fucking fryer has a timer, you don't have to pay attention. And it's just not true. None of these things is true. It's why everything sucks. Exactly what happened. I was right. I had a feeling that's what was going on last night. They were acting crazy last night, making all that damn ruckus and running around like fucking assholes because they were dissuading the raccoon from trying to figure out a way to get in here. Good on them. The raccoon made a visit last night. That's what that was. They were saying there's no food here, there's nothing to find. We're just running around making a ruckus because it's warm. And the raccoon's like, well, I am warm. We're fine with that. So that means I gotta start tossing out scraps for the coon. He's coming around looking for chicken fingers, and good on him. This winter, I shouldn't be talking about this right now, but this is as good a time as any. I'm gonna get out of here. This will be the end. But this winter has me thinking about human history, human evolution. Around the time that Homo erectus speciated into, or evolved in Pokemon terms, into Homo heidelbergensis. The cyclical ice ages in the northern hemisphere were every 40,000 years. And then around the time that, before that, around the time that Homo erectus evolved into Homo heidelbergensis, those cyclical winters, as you might call it, those cyclical ice ages, went from 40,000 years to 100,000 years. And so I keep thinking about this winter in terms of these animals. They're used to winters where you get snow on the ground for 2 or 3 days. But this is a winter where the snow hasn't come off the ground for 2 or 3 weeks. That's got to be hard. It's got to be hard on their metabolic systems. It's got to be just very difficult for them to find food. Any of them. So the raccoon, if it comes around, it's not trying to be aggressive. It's probably starving. It's probably scared. It's probably freezing to death. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah. They don't come in right there. But these are coon tracks. These are definitely coon tracks. Raccoon was coming around. Those scratches are either the birds or the mouse, and they get in right there. I have 2 holes in the back right there that you won't be able to see from out here. I've stepped on a bunch of the coon prints, but he comes down here. He comes down right through that middle path because I had chicken fingers out right here for him. At the beginning of the snow, I put out a bunch of chicken fingers. And these are the rabbits making the same path they made yesterday. Like they're hungry. They're coming over to the places where they ate this spring. They're looking for food. It's getting more and more difficult for them to eat, the animals. So I'm not afraid of them, and I'm certainly not trying to dissuade them. But yeah, I do wake up like, man, I really hope that fucking raccoon doesn't decide he's going to try to get in here today. If he tries to get in here today, he's going to ruin this for both of us. It's not going to be here that much longer if he makes that choice. But raccoons can plan. So you just trust. You got to give the bad thing an opportunity to happen. You got to give the bad thing an opportunity to happen. If you don't give the bad thing a place to happen, where it does happen, you won't be prepared for it. Like in 7 Days to Die, right? But I had to quit playing 7 Days to Die because the metaphors were too fucking obvious. The metaphors were too fucking obvious and nobody was paying attention, but it's like in 7 Days to Die. If you know that what you've got, the problem that you've got, works under the same principles as water, that it's going to follow the path of least resistance, then give it a path. Give it a path of little resistance. Give it an opportunity, give it a chance to do something other than be, completely disruptive, completely destructive. I always say it, give evil a chance. That doesn't mean try evil, take evil seriously, or apply evil techniques to your life, but it could. It's like anything, right? It's like you don't like that Jeff Bezos has this marketplace that makes all this money because people are able to sell through it, and he's able to dictate the rules, and he's able to copy your non-copyrighted material and sell it back to you at cheaper, with the same or better quality. If you don't like that, your options are 3: abstinence, non-consensual performance, or competition. Make your own. Do it yourself. And on some level, if you've already gone from, all right, well, I'm tired of buying this bullshit kish art stuff that I like to collect, I'm going to make my own and sell it. If you've crossed that barrier, then turning around and saying, oh, I have to make my own market stall and marketplace, and I have to do all of my own advertising, and I have to do all of my own shipping and handling, I have to do all of it, that gets exhausting.
So Jeff Bezos wins. But why shouldn't he? Right? It's on the consumer if they're buying Amazon Basics products. The consumer knows what they're buying. They know who they're hurting. You know what you're doing. You just act like you don't. I think I was watching a clip from Malcolm in the Middle today where the wife is accusing dude of having made out with somebody that he hadn't made out with. And she's asking him, like, you don't even look at other women? And he's like, what other women? He's just playing totally ignorant. And it's like, yep. If you just don't know what they're talking about, if you just don't know the wrong that you're being accused of exists as a wrong, then you can't be held accountable for it. But that's the literal defense that every serial killer has tried to use on the stand. So tread lightly. That's a slippery slope.